Hi, Carl here for Pro VTV, and I'm joined today by Dan, who you might recognise because you've done a couple of videos.
Only a couple.
What are the ones that you've done so far?
E-image bags and the Manfrotto Nitrotech.
So Dan is my editor and cameraman here at Pro V, and you're slowly eking you out from behind the camera.
Yeah, slowly pulling me in front, slowly.
Unwillingly, you're trying to hold on.
It's a requirement.
So, what are we going to do today? What are we making? This is something a little different.
Yeah, so one of the most common questions that we get asked is to compare two cameras against each other.
People want to know which one to buy.
Yeah, exactly, and it's almost an impossible question because different cameras suit different people's needs in different situations. It handles differently. It's a very difficult question to answer.
Yeah, we can't, if people say, oh, should I buy this camera or this camera online in YouTube comment, we can't just go, oh, you should buy this one, obviously. Because
there's a lot of variables.
It's all so subjective.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to have a little chat about today the C200 and the EVA.
Probably two of the most asked about cameras at the moment.
Yeah, we get that one quite a lot, So starting off, we've got image quality.
I mean, they're both DCI 4K cameras, right? The EVA-1 has a 5.7K sensor, whereas the C200 is just 4K, so it's downsampled a little bit. Whether or not that makes that much of a difference is debatable, but the EVA is very sharp, it's very nice.
Especially when you punch in.
So I could say it's sharper than probably is a bit sharper than the C200, but that's not everything. I mean, the C200 does have RAW. We can't discount
internally.
RAW. Yeah, I mean, the EVA can, you're right, internally. So the EVA can output, at the moment, 4K RAW, but in the future, 5.7K RAW out to a Atmos or something like that. So you can record that in Cinema DNG or ProRes RAW now on one of the Atmos things, all convergent design. But would you rather have RAW internal or RAW on the SCI out? I know which one I'd choose. So it's definitely close.
It's very close. It's very close.
And the colours are good on both too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The EVA does get slated quite a bit, but the image coming out of it is beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the EVA's been a little bit of a misunderstood camera in some ways. People want it to be everything that the VariCam Lite was before it, and at the same time be everything that C200 and the FS7 is all rolled into one. It's not, it's its own beast. But the colours are fantastic. It's very, very sharp. And the low light is not bad. It's not bad.
Dual native ISO as well.
Dual native ISO, exactly. I wouldn't say it's its biggest strength.
No.
But the colours, I've been really happy with the skin tones and the colour reproduction from the EVA. So which one would you give the image quality to?
I mean, they are pretty much neck and neck with this one, aren't they? Because
I'm leaning ever so slightly towards the C200 just because of that RAW
internally,
because I think more people are going to use it if it's internally rather than externally.
Yeah, and having to buy an additional accessory.
It's an extra expense. But I think a lot of people might buy the Shogun if they buy the EVA. I think that's a pairing that makes sense. But even then, once you own it, you're not always going to have it attached on the camera. They add a lot of bulk, they add a lot of weight to the top of the camera. So if you're going for a lightweight setup,
it's not going to be very lightweight anymore at all.
And so I think just more people are going to use the RAW from the C200 than on the EVA. And so I'm tempted just to give it that tiny little bit towards the C200. Okay, convenience. So convenience is a difficult one with the two cameras. They're both very similar cameras. They're very similar style. They're both handheld with a side grip
top handle.
The EVA-1 side grip does rotate. The C200's doesn't. But the C200 side grip is stronger.
It's a lot stronger.
Take more weight because it can't rotate.
Yeah, well,
I guess for convenience, the rotation is better.
Yeah, because one of the things that people do know about the EVA is it's very lightweight.
It's a really light camera.
The build quality can sometimes make people lean towards people feeling it's not as well built, whereas it isn't really the case.
Again, people get that wrong a lot of the time because the way that the camera feels when you touch it, because it's a very strong metal inside, but then it's covered in this lightweight alloy sort of plasticky material. So people feel it and think, oh, it's a bit plasticky. It's not at all. It's really, really solid. If you see them stripped down, they're like a metal skeleton inside. And I certainly would have no problems chucking it in and out of a bag on professional sets. Whereas the C200 does feel that little bit more higher end in its build quality.
Yeah, and robust. I mean, you can't take it apart anywhere near as quick as the EVA. If you want to take the top handle off, you've got 2 screws in the top, which sort of you have to get an Allen key and then sort of
thingy around with it. It's reflected in the
bit.
weight though, because the C200
absolutely.
is 2.8 kilos, whereas the EVA's only 2 kilos, and that's with all the accessories minus a lens, I suppose. So the EVA's a lighter camera.
It is.
So rotatable hand grip and lightweight for the EVA, but then on the C200 you've got autofocus.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk more about autofocus in a minute, but that's convenient.
It's absolutely convenient, especially if you shoot on your own. You're a solo operator. It's probably one of the best things that have come out of Canon.
And even if you don't shoot on your own, we use it for every single video.
Absolutely.
Every single video.
Every single video.
Autofocus. We're using it right now. And it does have a better screen.
C200, absolutely.
C200 has a better screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The EVA screen can be quite flimsy. You've got that.
Very reflective.
Very reflective.
The screen itself isn't flimsy, but the LCD sunshade that goes around it is very flimsy. I don't mind the what it's attached to the camera with, whereas the C200 one isn't great. The built-on thing. It's fun once you know how to use it, but it can be a little bit
when you first get onto it, you end up you can't get it the right way. Very quick.
But the actual quality of the LCD panel, I think,
very solidly built. It's not going anywhere.
And it's just a nicer display on the C200 than the EVA, I think. And I've just written down there 1 extra stop of ND for the C200, which does make a difference.
Especially when you're outside.
I was shooting with both of them on Brighton Beach when I was first testing the EVA, because my C200 was the behind-the-scenes camera, which I was doing all my pistol cameras too with, and just that extra stop of ND meant that I could actually open up all the way on my lens to f1.8 on the C200, whereas I couldn't with the EVA. I couldn't open up, so I had to stop.
You can get that shallow,
with the full whack of ND on both cameras. So it does make a difference when you're out there. So which one are we going to give it to? Yeah, that is really difficult.
Very, very difficult. I mean, the autofocus is the thing that's going to be pushing it towards C200 at the minute, and the extra stop of ND.
I guess what is more convenient, the autofocus and the extra ND, or the lighter weight, which is easy to work with because of the rotatable hand grip?
Again, it's all down to how you shoot, but I mean, in terms of sort of stripping it down and being able to use it.
I'm leaning slightly towards the EVA.
Yeah.
I do like a light camera.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're shooting handheld with it all day, it's very, very close.
Okay, I'm going to give it ever so slightly towards the EVA.
Ever so slightly.
It's basically a draw. Basically a draw.
Basically.
Okay, slow motion.
I mean, at the minute, in full HD without crop, they are both neck and neck. Both 120 frames. And
in 4K, they're both neck and neck as well. They can both do 50p or 60p. And that's in RAW as well on the C200. So they are neck and neck in terms of frame rates. Until you get down to the cropping, because EVA-1 does let you crop in to get up to 240. So it's not amazing quality. It is quite soft, and you do get quite a lot of aliasing. But it's there.
Yeah, you can use it. Yeah,
it's twice as slow. So this one's got to go to the C200. To the EVA.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Back to the massive convenience of autofocus.
I mean, this doesn't really need a discussion.
No,
the C200 is a clear winner when it comes to autofocus.
Without a doubt. I mean, dual pixel autofocus is fantastic.
It's the best thing Canon have done recently.
It's amazing. I was always taught, autofocus, don't use it.
Absolutely.
Don't trust it at all. But this, taking me back. I mean, you can really trust it. It's very professional. I think the fact that we use it in every single video
Yeah, and we don't have to.
No, we don't have to.
I don't move very much.
I mean, especially where even for stuff like B-roll, it's like not having to worry about pulling focus.
You can do a slide, and you can
do a slide, and then it's one less thing you sort of have to worry about. You do have to make sure you've got the box in the right place, and it's something that the camera can.
But that's what I like about the autofocus is that it's not just a blanket on everything, choosing what it thinks should be in focus. Yep. You've got the convenience to tell it what's in focus. You touch on the screen. You can track it as well. You can choose whether it's face detect, and you can choose whether it's face detect priority or face only.
Yeah.
There's so many options and settings which if you're brand new to and you're coming from a camcorder or something like that, which you literally just point it and it chooses what's in focus, that might take a little bit of learning, but it means that you get such better results because it's that perfect middle ground between I'm manually telling you what to focus on, but I'm letting you actually pull the focus to that point. Yep.
You're doing all the work, pretty much.
Whereas on the EVA, you've just got one push autofocus. So there is a button, you push it and it will focus, and it does normally get it accurate, but it's slow and it will hunt a bit. I compared the two in one of my reviews of the EVA, and it's just hands down that C200 is quicker, more reliable. It's just a better autofocus system all around.
Okay, lenses. I mean, it's pretty much a clear draw here. They're both EF mount. You can use the exact same lenses on each.
They both power the image stabilization on most lenses. I guess because of the autofocus, the C200 gets more out of its lenses.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's not.
Let's call it a draw.
Yeah, it's not enough to argue against, is there?
You can you can change the EVA to PL mount easier than you can on C200. You can't really change the mount on C200 at all, and you can on the EVA with a third-party thing, and it does avoid the warranty, but it can be done. Maybe that gives it ever so slightly towards the EVA, because if you want to use PL lenses with it, there is an option. Let's do that, ever so slightly towards the EVA.
If that's how you want to play it. Okay, Codecs. This is where a lot of people were disappointed in the C200 with its 8-bit MP4.
Yep, that's
fair. I mean, but the 12-bit RAW, on the other hand, completely different beast. But
I don't think I've had a single conversation with a customer about the C200 where they haven't mentioned 10-bit support. At some point in that conversation, they've gone, why doesn't it have it, or does it have it, or something along those lines. 10-bit is the buzzword at the moment.
Easily, without a doubt.
It's not always fair. I mean, the 8-bit MP4 is fantastic. It's really good. Much better than you expect 8-bit to be. And of course, the 12-bit RAW or 10-bit RAW, if it's in 50 frames per second, is far superior to what the EVA can do internally. Anyway. But the EVA gives you 10-bit. It gives you a choice of 10-bit or 8-bit. It gives you a choice of 150 megabits a second or 400 megabits a second. It gives you a choice of longer or intra-frame. Really, the C200 says, do you want
one extreme or the other?
One extreme or the other, convenience or quality, and that's your only two choices. And the EVA goes, well, let's get techie with this. What exactly do you want?
Everything in the middle, everything.
So technically, the C200 has a better codec. Because of the 12-bit RAW.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm tempted to give it to the EVA.
Yeah, especially when it does catch up if you want to include the 12-bit RAW out of the SDI. Internally...
I think because it's codecs, we have to focus on internally.
Yes.
But yes, you're right. You can
have the option to...
The other thing that might come into consideration is that I think more people will use the 10-bit from the EVA than they will the 12-bit RAW on the C200.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the maximum recording quality of both of them, I reckon more people will be using on the EVA. In fact, most people on the EVA will probably turn it on, buy the right SD cards that they can shoot onto it, and then leave it in that.
Yeah, probably.
Unless they want to go slow motion or something. Whereas the C200, it's definitely going to be chopped and
one or the
changed
other?
all the time.
You need two different types of media as well to use that EVA.
I feel a little bit like I'm robbing the C200 because it does have a better quality codec in it, but I think I'm going to give it to the EVA.
Yeah.
I mean, both are very similar in terms of sound. They've both got two XLR inputs on the body. They've both got easy access controls. They both record in AAC or PCM. The difference, though, is that EVA lets you do 24-bit audio, whereas the C200 lets you do 16-bit audio. For me, that's fine. I don't mind that at all. I don't know enough about sound. I'm not a sound guy.
Me neither. Me neither.
But technically, EVA wins.
Yeah. And then price. So this is sort of the big one that's going to grab most people's attention, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they're both expensive cameras. They're both a really reasonable investment. And when you're investing that amount of money, really the difference of a few hundred here or there doesn't make too much of a difference. But there is a significant difference between these. It's about £800 at the moment, with the EVA being a lot cheaper than the C200. So EVA wins.
Yeah, unless you've got the money to just splash out.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that the EVA is a better choice and a better investment. I think when you're paying this amount of money, really, it's apples for apples.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were talking about £1,000 cameras, like to £2,000 cameras, the £800 is a huge difference. Whereas up at this end, I don't find that many. The reason I say that, obviously £800 is a lot of money, but I don't find that many customers in conversations are choosing the EVA over the C200 because of price. It's all about the features at this price range, very rarely about the price, but EVA is cheaper. Right, so we said we wouldn't choose an absolute winner. I don't think we're going to do that on any comparisons like this. So it's something I really avoid doing on the channel as a whole, because there's no right thing. I mean, if you look at who's actually won each round there in terms of what we've given it to,
the EVA has a lot.
EVA comes out on top.
Yeah, easily.
But personally, I prefer using the C200.
I mean, we use it a fair lot more than we do the EVA.
That's the one that we use. Yeah. And so it's really interesting that it just shows things don't always add up on paper.
No.
But and it literally does go 50-50 sometimes with customers hearing the thing. Some of them are on the fence. Some of them go die hard towards the C200. Some of them go die hard towards the EVA. It really does split opinions, as do most cameras, to be honest, that, from competing brands. But I think it's a pretty fair fight.
Yeah, easily. I mean, it's not a question that we've just made any easier.
No, it's anything but an easy decision.
We could talk about it for hours, but I think we'd still come to the same conclusion.
That we're not sure.
Yeah, that we're absolutely not sure. And they're both brilliant quick cameras.
It does depend on you, your shooting style, how you like to use cameras, how you work, and which one is going to have the features that make most difference to you and your work, and how you make your money at the end of the day, because these are all both professional tools which are designed to make our customers money.
Yeah, it's a business investment.
Absolutely, they are. Right, so this has been something a little different. Let us know if you like this format, and we'll do more of these. If you want to see us talk about any particular cameras and compare any two cameras or any two products, it doesn't have to be cameras. It could be lighting gear, it could be sound gear, it could be monitors. Let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and if you want to buy either the C200 or the EVA, links to our site are of course down below. Thank you, Dan, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you in the next one.